Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another review, so if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. A lot went down in this episode, so let's just get right into this review. At the very beginning of this episode, Amara ends up having a very heated exchange with Allan, who is the father of her twin daughters, and her ex-fiance. Now, the reason why she decided to meet with him in the first place is because he went live on social media and was calling her a liar and saying that she doesn't let him see the kids. And that's what prompted her to go live in the previous episode and explain her side of the story. But at this point, she is tired of going back and forth on social media, and so she just wants to meet in person to have this conversation face to face. Now, Allan said a lot of things about Amara during this conversation that weren't very nice, but he definitely said that Ray J was telling the truth last season when he told Safari that the only reason why Amara was in the DR taking sexy pictures online is because she wanted to get Allan's attention. He claims that Ray J was telling the truth. But Amara said that she was never trying to get his attention and that the only time she reached out to him when she was in the DR was to tell him that he needs to come see his children and spend time with them. I don't know who's telling the truth, because Allan could be just saying this because he wants to make Amara look bad on TV, but Amara could be denying it because she doesn't want to look bad. Now, Allan even ended up saying that Amara knew that he was married the entire time that they were messing around with each other and that she knew about it. She knew that he was married and that she still wanted to mess with him anyway, and that's when she ended up getting pregnant. And he said that he was married when he proposed to Amara, and she knew that as well. Now, Amara did not deny knowing that he was married the entire time that they were messing around with each other, but she did say that he was telling her that he was going to leave his wife. Now, I don't think that that's an excuse to mess around with a married man. They will tell you anything to be able to sleep with you. So I don't know why Amara fell for that in the first place. I mean, I can't really have that much sympathy for her because you knew the man was trash in the first place because he was cheating on his wife with you, and now you're going through some of the same things that his wife was probably going through, so it's hard for me to have a lot of sympathy. But at the same time, him throwing Amara under the bus and saying that she was a side chick doesn't make him look any better. If anything, it makes him look worse because she was single at the time that she was messing with him. He was not single, he was married, and he made those vows and he decided to step out on it. So him trying to call her out for being a side chick makes him look worse, to be honest with you. Now, I don't agree with sleeping with married men or men in a relationship. I just don't think that it's right. So Amara is wrong too in this situation, but that made him look just as bad as he was trying to make her look. Now, Zoe ends up meeting up with Flo and Gaelle in this episode, and I feel like the reason why the three of them are linking up with each other is for their mutual dislike of this woman, Hawt Topic, who Zoe ended up getting into it with in the previous episode. Zoe ended up getting into it with Hawt Topic because Zoe was doing a body positivity event, and during this event, Hawt Topic pulled her aside and told her that she needs to work on her confidence when she's performing, and obviously that was not the time or the place for Hawt Topic to make those comments, but at the same time, I do feel like Zoe gets really defensive anytime somebody gives her any type of critique, and it's going to be hard for her to be in this type of industry and not be able to take any type of criticism because people get criticized all the time in this type of industry, and I understand that she doesn't like it, but I don't feel like she has to lash out every single time somebody says something that she doesn't like. Now, I will say that Hawt Topic was wrong for calling Zoe all types of fat names. I feel like she could have attacked her for anything else, and she decided to purposely go for her weight. But I don't know if it's a good idea for Zoe to get connected to Flo and Gaelle because Gaelle is really messy and she has a bad reputation. And on top of that, Flo allows her to come to all these events with her and mess them up. And so Flo is getting a bad reputation as well. So I don't know if it's a good idea for Zoe to link up with the two of them. I just don't. Because Gaelle and Flo were being really messy in this episode too, because when they were talking to Zoe, they were telling her the reason why Hawt Topic doesn't like them. According to the two of them, the reason why Hawt Topic does not like Flo and Gaelle is because one of Flo's friends were messing around with Hawt Topic's boyfriend, and Flo was okay with it, and that's the reason why she has an issue with them. Now, if that really is the reason why she doesn't like them, then I can kind of understand why, but I don't feel like they have to get into it every single time they see each other too. But according to Gaelle, tonight is going to be Bobby's birthday party and everybody is going to be there, and she said that she has something special for Hawt Topic when she shows up. Trick ends up meeting up with the Hollywood twins in this episode to hand them some contracts that they need to sign because he's trying to get them a record deal, and while he's doing this with the Hollywood twins, his son ends up walking in the room. Now, his son ends up getting really upset because he's been wanting his father to help him out when it comes to making his music, and he hasn't really been trying to help him because he doesn't want him to get into the industry so quickly. And his son is really upset about it, and I can understand why he would be upset, but I understand both sides of the situation. Obviously, Trick Daddy is known in this industry and he has a lot of connections, and so he should help his son if that's what his son wants to do. But at the same time, Trick knows that his son is in college and he stays out of trouble, and he really wants his son to finish college before he starts trying to make music. Now, I know some people may not agree with my opinion on this situation, but I do feel like his son should finish school first just so that he has something to fall back on if things don't work out with him making music, because just because his father is Trick Daddy doesn't mean his music is going to do well. So Shay ends up meeting with her mother in this episode, and she tells her mom that she has something important to tell her. And Shay has been going through a really hard time this season so far. Her relationship with Fabo isn't going well. Her relationship with her family isn't going well. And then on top of that, she had a second pregnancy that she doesn't want to go through by herself. So Shay ends up telling her mother that when she went to the hospital recently, she got some really bad news. The doctors told her that not only is her pregnancy very high risk, but her fibroids are also back. And then on top of that, they were unable to hear the heartbeat of the baby. And when they finally checked it out, they realized that the baby was no longer alive. And so now she has to have surgery in order to get the baby out. And I just feel so bad for Shay. I feel like she's going through a really hard time, but losing a baby is very, very hard. I've never experienced it before, but I can only imagine what it would be like. And so I feel so sorry for her. Now, she did tell her mother that she wants her to come to the hospital with her when she has the surgery, and her mom agreed, but she made sure to tell her mother not to tell anybody about what she's going through because she wants to tell people herself. And I hope that her mom really does honor that, because it's not right to go tell your child's business to people. Now, later in the episode, Shay does end up calling Fabo and letting him know that she has to go to the hospital and she wants him to come down so that he can be there with her because she doesn't want to go through it by herself. But he was confused because she wasn't really telling him what was going on, but she said that she wanted to tell him in person. Now, personally, I would have told him it right then and there over the phone just to make sure he actually does end up showing up to the hospital, but to each his own. If she wants to tell him in person, then I can understand why too. Now, Brooke Valentine ends up showing up to visit Amara because Amara has been going through a really hard time. And can we just take a second to admire how beautiful Brooke Valentine actually is? She is so gorgeous. I just think she's beautiful. Now, during this conversation, Amara ends up telling Brooke everything that went down when she met up with Allan to have a conversation. And she said that she was really upset that he called her a side chick. Now, I can understand why she would be upset by him calling her that, especially on national television when they have two children together. But she kind of was if he was married and she knew about it. So look, she was a side chick, but I don't think that she needs to be that upset about it, because at the end of the day, what's done is done. And I honestly feel like the two of them need to put their differences aside and try to co-parent their children together healthy. Now, she did say that she wants to have a healthy co-parenting situation with Allan. She just doesn't know if it's possible because he's still really angry and upset. Now, I hope that they're able to work things out and they're able to co-parent effectively for the sake of their children and for themselves, because all that stress and drama could really take a toll on you. But at the end of that conversation between Allan and Amara, Allan said that he was going to get lawyers involved because he said that he wanted to take the children to DR with him sometimes by himself. And Amara said no, that if he takes the kids to the DR, she has to be there. And I can understand why she wants to be there, so I'm not against her on that situation. But to me, nothing's working out between the two of them right now at this point. Now, Amara also ends up opening up to Brooke about all the failed friendships that she's been having lately, and she said that she's upset with Eliza because she thought that they were supposed to be friends, but she did not end up getting an invite to Eliza's birthday party, but Eliza ended up inviting Shay instead. So now Amara is feeling skeptical about going to Bobby's birthday party, but Brooke was very adamant about Amara needing to get out of the house and go to the party to enjoy herself. I think that Amara should go. I don't think that she has to engage in any type of drama, but I don't think that she should keep herself cooped up in the house either. Now, it's the night of Bobby's birthday party and everybody actually ends up showing up to support him. And the thing about it is that you can already tell that there's going to be some drama because of all the tension that's in the room between some people. Because as soon as Amara ended up walking into the party, she goes up to Flo and Gaelle, and Flo immediately starts questioning Amara about her relationship with Safari, and she was kind of aggressive with the way that she was questioning Amara about it. She said that she was really upset at the fact that Amara went live saying that her storyline with Safari was fake because she doesn't want people to think that her storyline has been fake too. Flo claims that everything that she's went through on the show is real and it 100% happened, and if it did 100% happen and her husband was actually sleeping with her sister, then I have to question whether or not she's smart or not, because why would you let the man who slept with your sister go back into your house to sleep there just because he doesn't have a place to go? And then on top of that, bringing Gaelle to all these important events after she slept with your husband and she's purposely trying to ruin all your relationships with these people is crazy to me. Like, I really have to question Flo at this point. Now, Miami Tip ends up showing up with her new man, and obviously her and Eliza were talking and they were being very friendly with each other because they squashed their beef in the previous episode, which I was glad about because I don't feel like the beef needed to continue. But Miami Tip made sure to tell Eliza not to take Safari seriously because every time somebody says that they're not going to take a relationship with Safari seriously, they end up taking him seriously and getting her in that situation, and that's when Amara ended up coming up into conversation. Now, Eliza was standing there talking to Miami Tip, and Amara ended up going up to Eliza and asking her if she wants to talk privately. And during this conversation, Amara ends up confronting Eliza about talking behind her back at her birthday party because Bobby is the one who went back and told Amara that Eliza was talking about her. And look, I don't think that it was right for Eliza to talk bad about Amara, but at the same time, I think that it was good that she owned up to it because she didn't deny talking behind Amara's back. She told Amara that she was talking about her because she feels like she's a bad friend. So Amara gets really upset and she starts yelling at Eliza, saying that Eliza never gave her a chance to actually show that she was a good friend and that she was going through a lot at that point in time, and that's the reason why she went ghost. But Eliza says that because she was there for Amara when Amara was going through things, she feels like Amara should have been there for her. And look, I feel like friendships work both ways. I feel like you should be there for each other, and I do think that Amara has a bad reputation about not being a good friend. I don't know if it's that she's not a good friend or that she's not a very present friend, and I feel like some people want friends that are present all the time and are there for them all the time, and sometimes people like Amara want to be by themselves and they don't want to talk to anybody. That doesn't mean that they're not your friend, it just means that they like their space. But I'm glad that Amara was open to hearing what Eliza had to say about their friendship, because at the end of the day, you do have to allow your friends to be honest with you and tell how they're feeling about the friendship, and you can take it how you want to take it. If you don't think that you did anything wrong, that's fine. But if you do feel like what they're saying needs to be taken into consideration, you can work on things and try to be a better friend. They were able to work things out and walk away with each other holding hands and everything, but I don't know how Amara is going to feel when she finds out that Eliza is messing around with Safari. Now, Hawt Topic was the last person to walk into Bobby's party, and obviously she was getting some dirty looks from Flo and Gaelle from across the room, but she ended up going up to Bobby and Trina and telling them that she doesn't want any drama at Bobby's party, so she's going to try to stay as far away from Flo and Gaelle as possible. And I feel like she had the right idea, because I don't think that it's right to show up to somebody else's event and cause chaos just because somebody that you don't like is there. I just don't think that that's right. And Bobby ends up telling Trina and Hawt Topic that he doesn't know how to feel about Flo bringing Gaelle to his party, because he invited Flo because he likes her and he doesn't really feel like she's drama. But he said that he has an issue with her inviting Gaelle to his party because he knows that Gaelle likes to start trouble and he knows that she has a reputation of ruining people's events, and so he's feeling some type of way, and rightfully so. Because when Bobby ends up going on stage and he grabs the microphone to thank everybody for coming out to his party, Flo and Gaelle end up going to the very top of the stairs. They're above everybody, including Bobby at this point, and Gaelle has a bag in her hand and she starts emptying out the bag, and all the stuff that's in the bag is falling down on the people who are standing on the floor. And look, it was a bunch of pictures and t-shirts of Hawt Topic on it, calling her a scammer and a fraud, and I understand why Trina got so upset during this situation, because it's not right for you to show up to people's events and ruin it every single time. If you don't like somebody and you know they're going to be at an event, if you know you can't control yourself, then why do you show up? And so Hot Topic is yelling that she's not a fraud or a scammer and she doesn't know why they're spreading these rumors about her. And at this point, Flo and Gaelle are being walked out of the building. And as they're being walked out of the building, Flo turns around and she throws a drink right in Hot Topic's face. And security tries to stop Hot Topic from going after Flo at this point. And Trina starts going off on security because she doesn't like that they're holding back Hot Topic, but they didn't stop Flo and Gaelle from doing anything to her. And so she gets really upset and she starts flipping out about it, telling security to let Hot Topic go. And at this point, Flo and Gaelle are already out of the building and they drove off in a car. So Trina and Hot Topic are outside of the building and they're yelling and screaming about how things are going to start getting ugly because people keep allowing Flo and Gaelle to show up to these events and cause a bunch of drama. And look, I understand why Trina was so upset. I think it was really disrespectful for the way that they acted at this event. I don't feel like it was the time or the place for them to be doing what they were doing. And it was really messy. And to be honest with you, I don't feel bad for Flo anymore because she allows this type of stuff to go on because she keeps bringing Gaelle everywhere with her knowing that she's drama. So those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Love and Hip Hop Miami. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comments section. Don't forget to hit that like button for me. I appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more videos and hit the notification bell so that you know every time I upload a new video. Thank you so much to everybody who has subscribed to my channel. I appreciate you all. And until next time, I will talk to you guys in my next video.